My adventurous and optimistic Sagittarius friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Sagittarius, there's a quiet restlessness in the air around you this week. It isn't quite worry, though it brushes up against the edges of your thoughts, more like a persistent sense that something underneath your usual optimism wants to be acknowledged. Maybe you find yourself hesitating before answering a question or pausing at the threshold of a decision, feeling the tug of something unspoken. Sometimes, when the world expects you to leap forward, there's a part of you that sits back, listening for a subtler truth. This week, that inner voice is especially present. You might feel a gentle friction as you try to reconcile what you know on the surface with a deeper undercurrent of uncertainty. It's not always easy to admit that you don't have all the answers, especially when others look to you for direction. But there's a unique wisdom in allowing yourself to linger at the edge of clarity, to sense rather than solve. In these moments, possibility opens, if you let the tension breathe. Underneath the surface, your emotional world carries the quiet gravity of the High Priestess. This isn't an energy that shouts or demands. It's more like entering a dimly lit room where you sense the presence of hidden meaning. You may notice yourself drawn to silence, or to moments when your mind drifts between conscious thought and intuition. There's a subtle awareness that much of what matters most is not being spoken aloud right now. You might catch yourself second-guessing your instincts, wondering if what you feel is valid or if it's just wishful thinking. Yet in the soft hush between certainty and doubt, you discover a gentle strength. Your emotions are layered, quiet but deep, like a still lake that hides its currents below. There can be a longing to retreat from noise, to seek out spaces where you can listen to your own heart without interruption. Sometimes this can feel isolating, as if you are carrying something precious that no one else sees. But there is also relief in realizing you don't have to explain everything, not even to yourself. You sense that some answers are found only by waiting, by letting the question echo. The High Priestess in you is not impatient. She trusts that what needs to be known will reveal itself in its own time. This week, you may notice an inner resistance to rushing, even as the world moves quickly around you. There's an unspoken tension between what is expected from you and what you are actually ready to reveal. You hold both the desire to know and the wisdom to wait. In this pause, you are quietly gathering strength, even if it looks like stillness from the outside. Your intuition is alive, even if you do not yet have the words for what it is telling you. It's from this quietly receptive state that your path forward begins to take shape. The tension between needing to know and being willing to wait gives rise to a field of choices, each one reflecting back a different aspect of your hopes, your fears, and your curiosity. The urge to move forward is present, but it is tempered by a gentle hesitation, a sense that the next step isn't only about action, but about discernment. The more you listen to the subtle cues within, the more you notice the complexity of what lies ahead. The world doesn't pause for your reflection, but you feel compelled to take your time anyway. This is where the next layer of your week begins to unfold. The path ahead is marked by the restless, shimmering energy of the 7 of Cups. This isn't a crossroads with a single clear answer. It's more like standing in a hallway lined with many doors, each one leading somewhere different. You may sense an increase in options, some real, some imagined, each one calling to a different part of you. There's a sense of pressure, but it's not always external. Much of it rises from within, from your own desire to make the right choice, to avoid regret, to not waste time. You might find your attention flickering between possibilities, drawn to one idea and then another, unable to settle. Some of these options may feel like distractions, while others carry genuine promise. The friction comes from not knowing which is which. There can be a temptation to escape into fantasy, to let your mind wander down every possible path without committing to any. At times, this feels exhilarating, a reminder of how much is possible. At other times, it's overwhelming, as if the weight of decision has become a fog that obscures your way forward. You may sense that people around you have opinions about what you should do, or that circumstances are pushing you to choose quickly. Yet, with so many options in play, clarity feels just out of reach. Still, beneath the surface confusion, there's a current of excitement. The presence of choice means that change is possible, that you are not trapped by the past. The Seven of Cups doesn't demand immediate resolution. It simply asks you to acknowledge the reality of your uncertainty. The active pressure is not to choose, but to see your own longing clearly, the desire for something more, even if you can't yet name it. In this space, the friction is both a challenge and a gift, urging you to look beyond appearances and trust the slow unfolding of your own understanding. And yet, the future is never set in stone. What becomes possible from here depends on how you meet this moment, with awareness, with patience, with the willingness to see both your confusion and your desire for clarity. The path doesn't resolve itself simply because it's time. It responds to your conscious engagement. You are not being tested, but rather invited to notice which impulses arise from fear and which are rooted in genuine curiosity. The choices before you are less about right or wrong and more about authenticity, about what feels true for you now, even if that truth is still unformed. As you move through the maze of options, the way ahead becomes clearer not by eliminating uncertainty, but by making space for your own evolving insight. This is where your growth lies, in the act of staying present, even when clarity is slow to arrive. What unfolds from this space is the swift, unfiltered momentum of the Eight of Wands. This is the energy of things moving quickly, not because you have forced resolution, but because you have made room for it. The invitation here is not to chase after answers, but to allow the answers to find you once you are ready. When you meet your choices with honesty, acknowledging your uncertainty, your longing, your real desires, you create a kind of opening. Suddenly, possibilities that once felt distant can gather speed. It's like noticing a shift in the wind and feeling, for the first time in days, that movement is not only possible but natural. The Eight of Wands doesn't promise that everything will fall into place immediately, but it does suggest that once you commit to a direction, momentum will build. You may feel a rush of energy, a sense of things falling into sequence, as if the world has been waiting for your readiness. Growth, in this sense, is not about forcing outcomes, but about responding to the moment with openness. There is a freedom in letting go of the need for perfect certainty, trusting that movement itself is a sign of life. The invitation is to remain awake to each development, to notice what arises without clinging to it. In this way, even rapid change feels grounded because it begins from your own truth. You are not swept along, you are carried by your own willingness to engage with what is real for you right now. As the week unfolds, the quiet wisdom of the High Priestess, the restless curiosity of the Seven of Cups, and the swift momentum of the Eight of Wands come together in your experience. You begin with a sense of stillness, of listening to what is not being said, of letting your intuition lead. This introspective pause allows you to see the landscape of possibilities before you, each one reflecting a different facet of your hopes and challenges. Rather than being overwhelmed by choice, you learn to honor your own pacing, to acknowledge that uncertainty is not a flaw but a companion on the journey. In doing so, you make it possible for genuine clarity to emerge, not by rushing, but by being present with what is. When movement comes, It arrives as a natural outgrowth of your willingness to trust yourself. The changes you experience are not imposed from the outside, but arise from your own deepening understanding. Even if not every answer is clear by week's end, you find reassurance in knowing that you can navigate uncertainty with confidence. The tension you felt at the start transforms into a quiet readiness, a sense that you are exactly where you need to be, even as new possibilities open before you. In this there is resolution, not as a closing, but as an ongoing invitation to meet each moment as it comes, with your whole self present and awake. Actionable insights for Sagittarius this week. When you feel uncertain, let yourself pause and notice what is stirring beneath the surface. Try spending a few minutes today in a place where you can listen to your own thoughts without interruption. If a choice feels overwhelming, allow yourself to consider just one possibility at a time, without needing immediate answers. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I trust the quiet signs that guide me. Each choice holds space for my real feelings. Uncertainty does not lessen my strength. I am ready to move forward just as I am. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.